Can I add to my answer? Hannibal. It is one of the best things on TV, and maybe one of the best things I've seen in the last 10 years. It's phenomenal. Or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too.
The show's off the air now, it's done, so there's no chance of me ever being involved with it, but man, I would love to have been part of Breaking Bad. That show was just amazing. Also, like, I think about, I'd love to do stage again one day as I get older, but I was like, I've really lately fallen in love with a kind of an obscure musical called Barnum. Do you know what I say? Yeah, P.T. Barnum's Barnum. I would love to do that, but yeah, those are mine.
I know.
I'm thinking deep in thought. I guess
I don't know what I mean. Live action, I feel like it would be. These are clearly the words of a man who just doesn't get the chance to do live action. It would be weird for me going from you get to be like monsters and demons and big tough guys to like you're our low rent Seth Rogen. You know what I mean? Like that would definitely feel like a step down. I wouldn't turn down the work, but it would feel very weird to suddenly be like, you can only play what you look like. You know what I mean? One of the things I like about VO so much is that you've got the spectrum. It's like musical theater and opera. If you sound right, we can make you look like the dude at a distance. Except we don't even have to because it's audio only. But you know what I mean? It's that same conceit of, oh, you're Zarastro, you're the big bass, and you're 25. But you've got the pipes for it, so yeah. So I don't know what I'd do. I'd be the dude who didn't like take PE class seriously and dies right away and Walking Dead. I don't know. It's a weird question. I mean, it's not a bad question. It's something I've never been posed. Nothing that's ever been posed to me before. I don't know. I'd take what I could get. I was once the only white dude on an episode of Moesha, so that was illuminating. I don't know.
I think anything Star Wars related. I would just love to be a part of that franchise, if I could. Also, and this is my own guilty pleasure, which probably nobody in this room other than me has seen, but Downton Abbey. Love, that is such my guilty pleasure. I literally giggle like a schoolgirl when it comes on. I'm like, I love the show. So, Downton Abbey.
Have you seen Downton Arby's? It's a thing. They're running an Arby's franchise, but they're all still very prim and proper.
That is awesome.
I never even considered doing on camera. That's kind of not what I ever wanted to do, but I guess I would want to be part of the Sherlock franchise. I love that. Love that. And if it were going to be a TV show, it would probably be something like Homeland, because I like CIA spy stuff and things like that. Not an interesting answer, Patrick, I'm sorry.
You're like a double agent.
Right.
Triple agent.
Only if they drew on big boobs. There you go.
So double D agent.
Double D agents.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fine.
Let's see. Television, I mean, it's long over, but I would have loved to have been part of the reboot of Battlestar. I love that. That and in Breaking Bad, fantastic. Currently, things that haven't expired. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm a big fan of Blacklist. Yeah, I know it's a kind of a cheesy show, but it's a lot of fun. Movie-wise, yeah, episode 7. That would be really exciting. Or if they ever rebooted Indiana Jones, which I kind of hope they don't. Just let it be. Not so much. They're what?
They're making the 4th movie.
They are making the 4th one? Because what, they're just denying that the other 4th one exists?
Then they're making the next one.
I see. Oh, okay. I thought you were being,
Indiana Jones in the Falcon.
existential.
I wish I could do that.
What's
Indiana Jones and the boat payment.
and the quest for Geritol. So that's anyway.
Yeah, it was the CG monkeys. I just totally blocked it.
That was Shia LaBeouf.
Searching for a second, I thought the show you wanted to be part of was the monkeys.
Full House. I think they're cool, yeah.
How woo!
You got it. Whatever. Thank you. Okay, next question. Oh, right, yeah, you're next.
It's better be good. Yeah, of course it's gonna be good. The problem with Indiana Jones 4 was not the monkeys or Shia LaBeouf, it was the fact that there were aliens in an Indiana Jones movie. But
as opposed to ghosts, because that's...
As opposed to ghosts.
we could have an argument about that.
I suppose you got a point.
They were holy ghosts.
But my question is do you guys, are you able to like watch your own work? Because I know I've heard a lot of actors can't watch their own work because they find it just kind of embarrassing. Is that hold true for any of you? Well, it's not embarrassing because it's a bad job. It's just...
I feel like what I'm hearing is, are any of you embarrassed by your careers?
What are you gonna give up that cute little hobby of yours?
I say this partially because I do some plays and stuff now and then, and someone usually films them, and when everyone watches, I just can't do it because I'm just like, oh God. Do any of you feel that way about any of the work you do, or do you just sort of deal with it?
I feel like it's a natural reaction to look at your own stuff the first couple times out and be like, oh God. I mean, the thing about like the difference between doing stage work is it's so organic and it's live theater, so it's done, it's over. You never have to revisit it again. But something like you've done for film or dubbing or whatever, it's there, it's finished. There is nothing you can do about it. And you watch it and you're like, oh, why did they go with that take? Why did they do that? Oh, I didn't feel that was my strongest one. Whatever, but that's actors. We second guess ourselves all the time. That's why we need directors. Left to our own devices, we just be doing there all this. But hang on, it's not perfect yet. Take 47. Just whatever. And I know I've directed myself before. It's impossible. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I can watch my own stuff because I feel that I need to do it to kind of be able to judge. And sometimes it is very, very hard. But it gets easier the more I do it because, I'm able to kind of separate myself and be like, well, it's done, and I just have to trust my director that was the performance they wanted, and it works for them, and it will hopefully work for the audience we're going for. So I just kind of step back and I'm clinical about it, I suppose. So it's gotten easier because I just pretend it's not me. Because it isn't. I mean, it's the character I'm playing. I just kind of get over that and be like, oh, I don't hear myself. I try to just hear the character. So when I do hear myself, that's when I'm thinking, oh, no, I didn't do very well because I'm still hearing myself in there, and it's too much me. It's not enough the other characters. So, but I mean, at first it was terrible. First, I couldn't stand hearing my own voice, and I loved it. People were like, wow, it doesn't sound anything like you, and I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, that's the nicest compliment we can get.
Right. My own mother was like, now which one are you? And like, I'm like the one talking. I don't think that's right. That can't be right. Are you sure?
And Michael, you've actually also seen yourself on stage while being on stage, haven't you? You've actually been in two places at once.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a huge compliment when people can't identify your voice. That means you've done something really different. I tend to play a lot of characters that are essentially modified versions of myself, not me as Rachel or whatever, and it's nice to be able to stretch. My first voiceover ever is awful, and I dare any of you to try and find it. It's a poison control video, and it's somewhere in Onondaga County, New York. Have fun! And it was done on like an Amiga computer, and it was like a talking red rubber ball with hamburger helper hands, and it's just horrendous. So if I see it now, I'm like, this is wretched. And yeah, there's certain. I record most of my auditions from home, and I save all of them because it's really helpful to go back and listen. And there's no way to really analyze. There's a formula for why you get chosen or not chosen. Listening to my audition for Fang, I don't know that I would have chosen you based on that. On the other hand, they did. So I was really happy about that. I'm like, I'll trust your decision. But like Michael was saying, you have to trust that the director has, directed you that way for a certain reason, gotten the performance they wanted, and it's extremely hard. We're all very self-critical, and yeah, I will sometimes I stopped doing this, but yeah, I did up to like 10 takes, mostly because there were like pee-pops, and then there was a leaf blower outside, and then something fell on the roof, and I was like, ah! And I was so mad that I finally just had to get the words out, and then I got a call back, and I was like, maybe outside distractions are the key. So it's, you just gotta detach.
I don't know about you guys, but I do on-camera work, and whenever I see myself on TV, I usually pause the TV and go, "How you doing?" No, I'm kidding. No, honestly, I've just done it enough for so many years now, both on-camera, voiceover, or whatever it is, that I kind of just, whenever I'm there on the job, I give 110%. At least that's what I try to do every single time. So, and then after I walk out of the studio or off the set or whatever it is, I'm done. And so I can kind of detach myself from it. Just watch if it's an appearance on TV, it's fantastic. That looked great, good. And if it's a role that I've done in a video game or anime or whatnot, then I'm able to just sit back and enjoy it. I try not to critique myself, over-critique myself, because then you drive yourself nuts.
I used to get tired of this stupid stand thing. Yeah, I'm the same way. I kind of detach myself when it comes to... It also depends on the show and the video game. If the video game catches my interest while I'm recording, whether it's the game or the storyline, then yeah, I'll say, oh yeah, I'll go and watch this because I want to see if it's a good show or not. To me, if it's my cup of tea. Yeah, you get it. But most of the time I don't watch a lot of the stuff that I'm in, but recently I've been so excited about a lot of the projects that I've worked on that I do go out and watch them if I get them or if I have any access to them. As for video games, I love video games, but I just don't have any time to play them. But I try and get in as much as I can. But yeah, pretty much as it comes to performance, when I first did my first anime show, it was very uncomfortable hearing it was cool at the same time, but it was very like, oh,